This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined by Conor Benn. Conor, it's been a little while. I've seen you all over the TV knocking people out, but I haven't spoke to you in a little while. How are you doing?
I'm good, mate. It's been a while, hasn't it?
It certainly has. Let's jump straight into it. What did you make your performance? Big win over Chris Algieri this past weekend.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised, to be honest, that the knockout come. I'm sparring super middleweight, super middleweights, 12 4-minute rounds. So I feel extremely strong. I was prepared to go to 12, but I wasn't surprised that the knockout come.
The last fight against Adrian Granados, I think beforehand we were all promised kind of war and him coming to have a go and what have you. That's not quite what we saw on the night. Chris Algieri came and probably give a little bit more of a better account of himself, holding his feet and what have you. Think that played into your hands compared to what you got from Granados?
You can't look good against fighters like Granados. It's impossible. He didn't come in there to win. So when you don't come in there to win, what else can you do? There's nothing you can do. You can cut off the ring. There's only so much you can cut off the ring. It is what it is. Granados was what Granados was. A terrible fun as well got me in a journeyman. With Algieri, Vargas, Formella, they come to win. It allows me to capitalize on their mistakes. It allows me to cut the ring off. It allows me to set up my shots. Which is exactly what I've done.
I've spoken to your trainer, Tony, over a period of time. And one of the things that he's spoken about in the past is you improving your jab. That's something that you've worked an awful lot on over the last couple of years. And I think, again, we saw signs of that against Chris Algieri. What were you most impressed with or pleased with your own performance? Was it the jab? Was it something else?
Well, you got to remember he was taller and had quite a bit difference in reach, but he, I don't think he even landed a jab. So, I don't know. I was just happy overall. I planned on making that fight look like the fight it was supposed to be, which it was, and which I did when I get in there. I handled business every single time. If Granados had come to fight, it would have got knocked out, spark out and all.
And one of the things I want to talk to you about from this past weekend before we move on is the video that's doing the rounds of your dad. It's always nice to see him, and he's always somebody who, I don't know what the boxing expression is, but in football they say heads every ball and is in there every bit, throws every punch with you, should we say. That must have been a nice thing to look back on. I think he rather enjoyed that knockout.
No, I was literally just laughing about it with him now, about how he was just so emotional. He was like, his arms gone, way, and all that. Love it. It's raw passion. It's a blessing. That's all I can say, man. It's such a blessing. What's it like having him with me in camp? It's phenomenal. We're just making up for time now that growing up wasn't so great in terms of just like we were like that all the time. Do you know what I mean? And now we're just so close. It's going to be hard in going back home, to be honest.
I was going to ask that. I remember we did right at the very start of lockdown, and I did a video with you and your dad at home, and he was kind of giving you a clip round the ear, and you were laughing and joking, and it was lovely. It was really lovely to watch. What's it like when he goes back? Obviously, particularly at the minute with the pandemic, we don't know what's going to happen. Things are closing and opening, and the regulations are changing all the time. What's it going to be like when he goes back?
It's very hard. It's probably worse, and then I regret him even coming because it's so hard. It's going to be hard him going back. I think this time around again, it gets harder because it's just hard. Obviously, you feel like you've lost a limb.
So what's next for you? Immediately, it's always the way after every fight, but particularly somebody high profile like yourself. As soon as you get the win, everybody goes, "Oh, well done. What's next?" You've spoken about.
I'd do that. I'd do that. I'd go straight to Tony. What's next, mate? And that's like going to a fight. What's next? Who's next? Don't really bother me. I heard Eddie Hearn's making the Broner fight. he can, you know, maybe here, over there, wherever, it don't really matter. I'd love to fight here because I know the British public want it. The public have seemed to run with the idea of Broner. If anyone can make the fight, it's Eddie Hearn. I heard he's making it. So, you know, we're hoping to get in March, April. And then, you know, if they offer me Ugas next, I'll take Ugas. Obviously, his fight is mandatory, but, you know, who knows? I thought I'd answer about 5 questions there in one.
I can imagine. Yeah, I'm sure you're going to be asked, and you have been asked all day.
I thought I'll answer these questions in one because then you're going to ask about the Kell-Brook Khan. I think likely Brook's going to win. Khan definitely won't take the fight. He's definitely going to retire after this fight. There's more chances of Brook happening, so hopefully Brook wins because that's more likely to happen. But then at the end of the day, I'll probably have more chances of fighting Jake Paul than fighting either of them. So that's where it's currently at. I answered all your questions, haven't I?
Who are you trying to do? You trying to do me out of a job here, Conor?
I'm just answering the questions because I know what questions are coming. That's all, mate.
So the question I was actually going to ask, so I spoke to Eddie earlier this year, and I mentioned David Avanesyan to him. And he said to me, Conor Benn would fight him tomorrow, but I think he needs a couple more fights. That's what his words were. Since then, you've boxed Adrian Granados and you've knocked out Chris Algieri. You've had your 2 fights. Is that fight of any interest to you, the Avanesyan fight?
Not really. Not at the minute. If it was for a world title, most definitely. Because I believe he is a world level athlete. He's a great fighter, not a massive name, doesn't hold a world title. So when you talk about him being the hard fighter that he is, I'd rather fight you guys. You know, I'd rather fight for a world title. So if he had a world title, yeah, I'd fight him next. 1,000,000%, any day of the week. You know, you got the Danny Garcias, the Mikey Garcias, those fights, you know, I want because they're massive names. They're just as risky, but they're bigger names. You know, you got Carl Greaves and all that. Is it Carl Greaves?
Carl Greaves is trainer, yeah.
Who's the other guy?
Neil Marsh is his manager.
Sorry. You got Neil Marsh there just getting the ump because he's getting left out. You know, he's been made mandatory to fight Virgil Ortiz. Willie, probably not. And then, you know, who's the bottle job then? So, you know, they're dishing that loads of stick to me about not fighting him, but he brings nothing to the table. If you look at who Avanesyan fought when he was 25, on his 20th fight, look at who he fought. Go on, do you want to have a go on there and have a look now?
Avanesyan?
Yeah, go on Avanesyan's box rec.
I'm just getting his box rec now. There we go. All right, 1 sec. 20 fights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, have a look.
18, 19, 20. He boxed Ramon de la Cruz Senna.
Okay, what's his record?
He was 18 wins, 12 losses, 2 draws.
Okay, what about his 21st fight?
He boxed Laszlo Fazekas. Hopefully I've pronounced that properly.
Okay, what's his record?
22 wins, 16 losses, 1 draw.
So no one talked to me about him and me doing him any favors because I ain't doing him no favors. Just because I ain't in no rush to fight him, I ain't got to fight him. So you just pointed out his record at his stage of his career. You know, he can do what he wants. I ain't doing him no favors, and he wouldn't do it if the shoe was on the other foot. So, you know, you've just pointed that out there. So when you look at trajectory and progression of career, it's saying I'm a fraud. Who's the fraud, really? Do you know what I mean? I'm not at the end of my career. You know, I've got time. So, you know, the Avanesyan fight, he can talk all he wants. Carl Greaves and Neil Marsh can talk all they want. They can say what they want. At the end of the day, you know, the proof's in the pudding. You know, what I've just pointed out there. No, they ain't called me out, but I was just saying, what are the records? I was saying when he was 25 and he on his 20th and 21st fight, who did he fight? What's the record?
For Ramon de la Cruz Senna, 18 wins, 12 losses, 2 draws, and 21st fight was against Laszlo Fazekas, 22 wins, 16 losses, 1 draw.
I said I ain't doing them no favors just because they want to rush and get his fighting money. I don't need. They're saying 500 grand.
But have they even said anything after this fight?
No, I ain't seen nothing.
Sorry, Rob, have they said anything after this fight?
I haven't seen, to be honest. I haven't really had a look.
Vocal after the last couple, but it seems they haven't really said anything after.
Yeah, but like what I was saying is like let them crack on. You know what I mean? They want to get their fighter a payday. They'd rather fight what's his name? Liam Taylor, who's ranked number like 15 in Britain, over fighting a Rashidi Ellis for a final eliminator, which Eddie Hearn offered him. You
turned down Liam Taylor.
Huh? We turned down Liam Taylor. Yeah, we turned down Liam Taylor because I was like, mate, I'm not fighting him. He's absolutely terrible. So, we chose to fight Sebastian Formella, who just lost to Sean Porter, instead. Then we chose to fight Samuel Vargas, who just finished going 7 rounds with Virgil Ortiz, who will be pound for pound, who everyone's raving about. I knocked him out in 1 round. So, you talk about Avanesyan. He's, if he's had a world title, I'll take the fight any day of the week. So, that's where that ends.
You mentioned, I don't want to dwell too long on it, but I mean, I've covered your career and sort of known you long enough to see that you're a fiery young character sometimes, Mr. Conor Benn. Does it bother you to hear people like Neil Marshall fans say that you're ducking him, quote unquote, ducking David Avanesyan? Does that piss you off, for lack of a better term?
It don't piss me off. It's bollocks. That's what they're gonna say. What are they? That's their job to say that. That's Neil Marsh. Neil Marsh's job to say that. It's the classic. Always ducking. Oh, it's the classic. Yeah, how many times I've heard that in my whole career? I heard that about Florian. About I'm ducking him. It was Joe Laws as well at one stage. So I just think, oh, you lot are having a laugh, aren't you? But it's part of the game. I don't ever say someone's ducking me because I will never go, oh yeah, Khan-Brook are ducking me. Errol Spence ducking me, because it's like they're goading, they're trying to draw you in. I've had it early on in my career. Do you know what I mean? Say what you want. Say I'm ducking whoever you want. At the end of the day, that's your opinion. I don't duck no one. I'm not really fussed, to be honest. At the end of the day, I'm a fighter. It's what I do. Yeah, it's rubbish. No one. No, if you're a fighter, you ain't ducking no one. You're a fighter. It's what you do.
Is that part and parcel, sort of come with the territory, being a high profile, being a Ben? Is it sort of part and parcel of it? I know you've had it for a long time in your career.
No, it is what it is, man. Don't know if it's part of being a Ben or not, but it's just part of the. It's just the boxing game. It's the fighting game. I don't think what you do as a fighter is you weigh up risk reward. That's very, very important. Low risk, high reward is ideally what loads of fighters want, which is why loads of fighters call me out. Maybe not so much now, but they did, because to them I was low risk, high reward. They think they could do something, but they never could. They got knocked out. So, and the money's always going to be good because I'm a name. So I'm loads of people's meal ticket. I'm Avanesyan's meal ticket, so to speak, because why fight a Virgil Ortiz? Why fight a Rashidi Ellis? Where does he go from there? So they're looking at now it making sense for them and what's best for them. Well, I ain't doing what's best for them. They can do one. Say I'm ducking you. My ego ain't that big. Say I'm scared. Say I'm petrified. Say I'm pissing myself in bed worrying about them. My ego ain't that big. I don't care. I'm getting paid. And I'm knocking these other people out. I'm climbing the rankings. I'm higher than Avanesyan in most of the governing bodies. That's fine. My team got me in that position. It's only a matter of time before I get the world title. So I ain't really got to worry about what anyone else says or anyone thinks. I know who I am. I'm securing myself.
Said after the fight of the weekend that you're a top 5 welterweight. Who are the other 4?
Well, I don't know what the rankings are now.
Okay, in your opinion, in your mind.
Oh, in my mind,
yeah.
Not in the rankings. I was talking facts there.
No. So we're gonna move on. So
in my mind, I'd probably say top 5. Obviously, Errol Spence, Terence Crawford, Virgil Ortiz, Jaron Ennis. You've got to put Rashidi Ellis. It's somewhere in there, really. I like Rashidi Ellis. He's my guy.
Good fighter as well.
A very good fighter. I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. You've got Blair the Flair Cobbs. Tell a lie, speak to Blair. The Flair.
He's an interesting fella.
He is. He's a cool guy though. I like what he's about. Woo! like all that. You gotta be different. You gotta have something about him. He has something about him that I like. Do you know what I mean? But then all these Yanks are, quite out there. Gotta love it.
You've not mentioned your Dennis Ugas there. Obviously, somebody whose name that you spoke about previously.
Did he say I didn't mention?
Didn't mention Ugas as part of your top 5 there. You mentioned his name as a potential opponent, somebody that you would like to face. Obviously beat Manny Pacquiao earlier on this year. I think fair to say not a prime Manny Pacquiao by any stretch of the imagination. Realistically, when do you think you're ready for that fight? You think you're ready for that fight next? You take that fight next?
1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. If they said to me, yeah, fight Ugas next, or we got the fight, I'd be like, go on. I'll go to the States and fight him for the world title. Or if not, we fight him here at West Ham Stadium.
Could you see that? Could you see that actually happening? I had this conversation with Barry Jones, who was very complimentary of you on the podcast, and he said, a fight between you and the winner of Khan-Brook would be a massive, massive fight. You mentioned earlier that you don't necessarily, that would be an option for you, but could you realistically see that fighting a sort of a young, hungry, fresh guy like yourself?
Do you know what? I don't even think about it, because it's like you get your hopes up, they don't happen. So it's like, until it's signed on the dot, not even until it's signed on the dotted line, to be honest, until you've weighed in, to be honest, because you just don't know in this game. I'd like to think so. Josh Kelly was obviously supposed to be the big rivalry, but no, he's gone on a missing one. Yeah, I don't even know what he's done. I haven't heard nothing.
No, I haven't either. Is that a fight that, if it was presented to you, would still interest you? If he is staying at 147, we don't know what he's doing.
I fight him at 150. I fight him at 150. I'm currently 12 stone.
I wish I was 12 stone.
And that's in a matter of 3 days. So I fight him at 150, no problem. Yeah.
Right, Conor, we're going to get on with things because I say you've got to be a packed day today, and I appreciate your time. Adrian Broner, what are you doing? I thought you were doing yoga or something.
Stretching my neck.
There we go.
Oh, go on.
All right, Adrian Broner.
Where you've gone like that and you've like almost gone over.
I think if I did that, it'd take me a good few minutes to get back up to standing, I think.
Adrian Broner, yeah?
Yes, Adrian Broner. Now, 2 questions. 1, why do you want that fight? And 2, how does that fight end?
Because he is nothing but a good name on my resume. Number 1. Number 2, a lot of the Brits would love to see me fill him in. And number 3, what was the other question?
How does the fight end?
He gets bingoed around 7, 8.
Do you think he's much of a challenge at this stage of his career? We've not really seen anything from Broner.
You know what, as reporters, you guys say, like when you said Manny Pacquiao was, a fraction of what he was, and a lot of reporters say, yeah, but age ain't nothing but a number. If you look after yourself, it ain't nothing but a number.
I agree. I agree with that. But I also said,
look at Kiko Martinez the other week, mate.
I think it's fair to say that Adrian Broner hasn't necessarily looked after himself.
He hasn't looked after himself. So would I knock him out? Yeah, 1,000,000%. So that's why he's probably going to make sure the money's right. So he'll probably be his last paycheck. That's if he takes it, which he probably won't. But I'll leave that to the team. I'm not honestly so not bothered. If they brought the Danny Garcia fight to me or the Mikey Garcia fight, I'd have them fights, man. I'd have that fight. First off, because I respect them. They're world champions. I dream of achieving what they've achieved in a sport. There's no one domestically that I fancy, that would make a cracking fight, that would make sense in progression of my career. It's all the Americans, which is fine. I mean, I'll bring the world title back home and then hopefully have a big domestic year with, an up-and-coming Brit. Because you've got to remember, soon there's going to be a new crop come through. As it always does. It's the way the world, it's just the way it works, the way it evolves.
Okay, right. Colin, final one from me. Let's talk about the main man, Tony Sims, and the work that you've done with him over the years. I've spoken to you about it in the past. You know, he's done such a great job with you. He's done a great job with everybody else. I think it's fair to say he doesn't crave the limelight and the attention, but how much credit does he deserve for the work that he's done with not only you, but the rest of the boys in the gym?
I reckon he deserves about 60% of the making up in terms of Conor Benn, who I am. It takes a good coach to draw. I don't say trainer, because I say coach because it don't just end in the gym. To communicate with a fighter, work with a fighter. I see how Tony communicates differently with each and every fighter. He works with me completely different to how he works with Felix, John, Ted, Martin. The list goes on. Joe Cordina. The list goes on of how I've seen him work when it was with Mitchell, Burns back in the day. He brings the best out in me. You know, it's like family. The whole gym. You know, it's some stable we got, and you know the way Tony's dedicated himself to me for the past 6 years is, you know, it's you know, I owe Tony a world title. At the end of the day, he didn't know how good I was going to be. I could have been absolutely terrible, and he could have dedicated his whole 6 years to him, which is a long time, by the way, for nothing. You know, he had faith in me before anyone else did. And that goes a long way with me, because, you know, I know that I wouldn't have achieved nowhere near what I would have if I went with Tony. And I'll see through my boxing with Tony. If Tony's gone to me, Conor, I'm retiring tomorrow, I'd probably go, yeah, I'm done too then. But if there's anyone else I want to do this journey with, it's something so rewarding in starting and finishing with the same team you started off with.
That was very well said. All right, Conor. Well, always a pleasure catching up with you. Thanks very much, as always, speaking to Boxing Social. Enjoy your first Christmas with your lovely new family, your boy. I hope he has a great time, and I will catch up with you soon. Thanks very much.
What about me? What about me?
Oh, hello, Nigel.
Hello, mate.
Is that his coffee?
I've had my coffee. Yeah, I've had the coffee, yeah.
How are you, sir? You all right?
I'm really well, mate. I'm really well. Just it was true. I was just falling asleep. Just made me a coffee, and I'm like, woo, right as rain.
I tell you what, your boy put in some performance this past weekend. I know you enjoyed it because I see you jumping around the ring at ringside.
I know. Can you believe it? But the difference is, I'll be honest with you, for the first time in his career, not been worried whatsoever. I was up 3 months. I've been here. I'm up with him, 5 in the morning. We're doing training. I watch him do 12 4-minute rounds with 30 seconds rest with like middleweights and super middleweights, and giving them their money's worth. So I did not worry about it at all. I even told the Sky commentator before she went on air, I was saying like, I think Laura, whatever her name is, I said, I'm not even worried. How do you feel? I'm not worried, because I saw what he'd done in the gym. I'm not worried at all. See, now, what I've seen, what he's done in the gym, I would say, oh, look, the only opponent that they got is Terence Crawford. We'll put in, or Spencer, we'll put him in. Ugas, yeah, put him in. It wouldn't bother me. It actually would bother me. He might have a hard fight, but you know what? Go on. I would not worry. I would not worry, because I've seen the level now, what he's done. People might say, oh, but you're not ready. They said he weren't ready for what's the name? Vargas. They said he weren't ready for Mela. All these kind of opinions, you know, and he's sparked him all here, and Granada, they just ran away from him. Didn't you see what he done with Algieri? No one ain't stopped Algieri like that. Even though when Spence stopped him with a body shot, Conor knocked him out clean. Not been an old man. He looked in great shape, but Conor made it look like very, very average. So I want to see Conor get out of first and second gear. He's not even done that. I want it to be challenged. You know, but I'm very contented if you go and fight one of these top guys. Oh, but he's not ready. Yeah, we'll just put him in there. Put him in there. Go on, put him in there. He's all right. He's good. Go for it. I would. I see what he's done in the gym this time. 3 months I've been here with him. 3 months. I'd like to see him fight these guys. Really. One more fight and then fight for a world title. I would like to see that. Against Ugas.
Right, Nigel, I'm going to have to go because I'm going to get told off for going for too long. But you mentioned you've been here 3 months. Conor just mentioned there about how much he's going to miss you. How much are you going to miss your boy when you go away? You've been here for 3 months.
I'm not going to miss him at all. He owes me £5 bet.
I do not. Hey, mate. You didn't make your weight.
Right, no,
Did you
because
make your weight?
you changed
No, I
it.
did
You
not.
changed
Did you
it.
make your weight?
You moved the
Did you make the
goalpost.
weight?
You moved the goalpost.
Did you make the weight?
We got to go.
No, but did you make the weight?
Cut.
Mate, you can't sell you £5 Did you make the weight? You owe me £5
I can listen. I
Oh,
can
well,
make.
make
If
it
you
then,
want,
make
to
it
go. You're going to pay
Make it
me.
then.
You're going to pay me.
Of course I will.
You're going to shake it. No, you are. Copy that, Charlie.
I've seen it, witnessed
He's
it.
witnessed
Right.
it.
Okay. Click
make
it.
it.
Right. All right. I'm going to make the weight.
What weight's he got to make?
13,
13.2.
2.
I
Right.
don't mind 13.2.
32.
Yeah.
Right then, cool.
You got an extra £1 there to play with, Conor.
I don't mind. I
Well,
can do it.
well, already you didn't make
I
the weight,
think
did you?
no, listen, because you moved the
Do you know
bloody
what? I'm just
goalpost.
disappointed, mate. To be
Oh,
honest.
I'm very disappointed. I don't like your attitude either.
Yeah, I don't like yours too.
I'm being done.
Right.
Right, Conor, I'll let you go. Merry Christmas to all of the Ben family. How's that? Thanks very much for speaking to Boxing Social.
Thank you,
I'll catch
buddy.
up with you soon.
Bye.
Cheers, Conor.
Bye.